from family history, smoking and obesity, urbanization that has led to air pollution is also a factor in developing asthma. Asthma is a chronic inflammatory disorder of the airways in humans, resulting in wheezing, breathlessness, chest tightness and coughing. Unfortunately, asthma can only be managed as there is no cure for the disease yet. Management of the disease becomes essential because it requires guideline-based therapeutic interventions and addressing socio-environmental factors that are considered risks to persons suffering from the condition. So in Panorama today, we shall take a look at factors that causes asthma, delivery of care management for asthmatic individuals, and what ways can natural elements or edibles that is medicinal could help in the management of asthma. I beg your pardon. Be reminded that you can follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on the screen for updates. I am Adeola Komiakere. Thanks for joining us. We'll be right back. The policy commitment of the current administration to promote cleaner environment through compressed natural gas, CNG, to power vehicles and for power generation is gaining basis for sound footing, with multiple oil and gas producing plants now completed and ready for full operation. A team of State House correspondents visited the oil fields in Akwa Ibom, Delta and Imo states, which have been primed for President Bola Tinubu to inaugurate soon. Musbao Dan Wahab reports on his visit to one of the oil fields in eastern Obolo local government area of Akwa Ibom State.
President Bola Tinubu emerged with a grand plan for Nigeria to join the League of Countries with large fleets of CNG-powered vehicles. The target of 1 million natural gas-powered vehicles by 2027 for some people certainly looks uncertain. But the administration is evidently banking on its game plan. And the plan is already manifesting in reality like this. Oil Mining Lease, OML-13, an upstream oil field in Akwa Ibom State, is one of such oil and gas projects envisioned and now emplaced by NNPCL and partners as the game changer.
These are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
The beginning of a fortune here is at this oil block.
Well, I'm practically standing on one of the sources of Nigeria's wealth, the oil well of the OML-13. And these are the wellheads, otherwise known as Christmas trees, that produce crude oil to the production plants.
And the oil and gas processing facility, with its strategic component, has the capacity to process 60,000 barrels of crude oil. And with these compressors, the plant can also produce 100 million scf of gas per day.
We have the capacity to serve the entire south-south area of CNG. We don't really have a problem with that.
The flow station is installed with 400,000 barrel storage capacity of crude oil. Already, the station has supplied about 47,000 barrels to the sea-going vessel for onward push to the floating storage vessel and then for shipment. And even at the pre-commissioning phase, the plant is already supplying CNG into the local markets.
For now, sometimes we fill about 10 to 12 trucks, and each truck takes about 300,000 in a day. Sometimes we load 20, depends on the number of trucks that comes. And each of the vehicle has about 8 tubes, and we take about 300.
Beyond the output capacity of the facility, equally important to the government in this project is the cleaner energy quest with zero-flare philosophy.
We don't intend to flare even a single 1 million scf of gas daily. We intend to inject all the gas or commercialize all the gas from the asset.
In addition to these plants, the AHL Gas Processing Plant 2, an expansion to the Kwale Gas Processing Plant in Delta State, which now has 200 million scf of gas per day capacity, the Ano Gas Plant, an integrated 300 million scf of gas per day capacity designed to process non-associated gas in Imo State, as well as the gas pipeline project to evacuate dry gas from the Ano Primary Treatment Facility, are all being prepared for inauguration.
Projects like this debunk the notion that Nigeria is not the place for investment. You can see for yourself, this is gas to power, this is gas for industries, this is delivering opportunity to the people of Nigeria. It's more LPG, it's consistent with the aspiration of crashing the price of LPG.
When inaugurated, the administration expects the project to increase gas supply to the domestic market by approximately 500 million scf per day, while also creating a better investment climate in the sector. In Abuja, Musbal and Wahab, NTA News.
And not done with making the environment cleaner for all. Environment journalists and media organizations have important roles to play in saving lives, livelihoods and ecosystems from the catastrophic effects of climate change. How to amplify this crucial function is what African broadcasters and other experts are addressing in Nairobi, Kenya. Environment correspondent Jennifer Igwe has more on this.
Climate change is presenting nations the world over with challenges that are unpredictable, and African nations are constantly experiencing firsthand how unpleasant extreme weather occurrences can be. Unprecedented flooding in May, for example, has claimed the lives of over 200 people in Kenya.
The impacts of climate change are not only environmental, but also economic.
People are dying. As the light bearers, journalists, we have to prevent all this by calling the attention of public and also the attention of government on the dangers they are facing or the dangers people are facing.
We must work together.
This inaugural African Union of Broadcasters Summit on Climate Change is aimed at enhancing the capacity of broadcasters to comprehensively cover disaster risk reduction strategies and deliver timely and easily understood early warnings.
Media are part of the necessary transformation for a more resilient world. You are key actors to inspire, educate, show solutions and generate the actions needed to achieve the goal of the Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction, the Climate Paris Agreement, and the Sustainable Development Goals.
Hosted by the Kenyan Broadcasting Corporation, the summit is organized by the African Union of Broadcasters and supported by the United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction. From Nairobi, Kenya, Jennifer Igwe, NTA News.
Climate change has been attributed to human activities, which is causing emission of greenhouse gases and making heat waves frequent and longer around the world. Nigeria is no exception. With a recent heat wave being experienced in the country, how are Nigerians in populated cities like Lagos coping with the situation? Larry Beleye examines the implications and will tell us how to go about it.
Research has shown that people are more likely to have heat stroke and show up in the hospital with electrolyte imbalance or kidney problems during excessive heat, which is a combination of high temperature and humid air, and this experience has been on since January in the country. In Lagos, many describe how they've been coping with the situation.
You keep taking your baths very often, like in the night. Sometime I got home from work, around 7 p.m. I take my bath. Before I go to bed by 10:30, 11, I will have to take my bath, along with the general family.
I have to keep awake, fanning my baby with hand fan, since there's no money to get fuel. So that's the only option we do. My wife will fan the baby with the hand fan. So, and sometimes we are outside the compound, taking natural air.
Scientists, meteorological agencies and climatologists have continuously pointed out that burning of fossil fuels adds greenhouse gases to the atmosphere, which is detrimental to humans and the environment.
It's a function of the total system, which the planetary system that will work together to generate the climatic conditions all intact together. Avoid being dehydrated when the temperatures are high, drink a lot of water, and make sure that you cover yourself by staying in areas of shades as much as possible.
They called for improved coping mechanisms, which include staying hydrated, avoid high-energy activities, especially for outdoor workers, and sustain the heat wave warnings to people and what they should do to cope in their local language. In Lagos, Lanre Bileji, NTA News.
And away from environment matters, the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, says it has released additional 531 results, making the total number of results released to 1,842, while it continues the screening of over 64,000 results withheld. In a statement by its head of public affairs, Fabian Benjamin, the board notes that in the course of the exercise, other cases of examination misconduct were also established, bringing the tally of examination misconduct to 92 from 81 initially discovered. While JAMB investigates cases of unverified candidates, it will soon come up with a position. The statement adds that the attention of the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, has been drawn to some fallacious publications purporting that an unknown candidate who did not sit the board's 2024 UTME obtained scores. This the board describes as fake, malicious, and a calculated attempt to undermine its integrity. It, however, urges Nigerians to disregard such irresponsible publications. And let's take a break here. We'll see you soon.
The counsel of our fathers.
I will urge and advise our younger generation to use talent and brain to sort out problems, not arms.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation.
My advice to these young people is please do not take us back to those harrowing days. You probably do not know what it is.
I believe we have fought one civil war too many in this country. So those who experience it will run away from it.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation together.
Many thanks for staying. Asthma is one of the major non-communicable diseases that, if not managed well, can cause avoidable deaths. The world has dedicated every first Tuesday in the month of May to raise awareness about the disorder. This year, the focus is Asthma Education Empowers. Hingino John Adams tells us more.
Asthma is a chronic long-term lung disease caused by inflammation and muscle tightening around the airways, thereby making breathing difficult. It affects both children and adults. Data by the World Health Organization shows that asthma affected about 262 million people and caused 455,000 deaths globally in 2019 alone. With research by Global Initiative for Asthma still showing dwindling statistics of avoidable deaths caused by the condition, experts say proper care is important.
Asthma is not only treated with medicine. Medicine is a strong point in which we used to treat asthma, but also education is a very important part. In fact, participating or discouraging air pollution in our environment and all those also play a major role in preventing asthma.
To prevent attacks, patients are advised to avoid triggers.
The citrus, your lime, your ginger, your allium sativum, which happens to be garlic. Yes, these are high anti-inflammatory. They have anti-inflammatory properties, and this can further relax those muscles and allow easy passage of the air.
Medical experts are advocating aggressive enlightenment campaigns to increase awareness on the dangers of the condition and ensure that environmentally friendly medications are also made available. In Lagos, Hinginu John Adams, NTA.
And to discuss further on asthma management in Nigeria, I have with me Dr. Ogochukwu Ekete, a pulmonologist and respiratory physician. Thank you for joining us on Panorama.
Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, now let's just begin with causes of asthma. What triggers asthma in an individual?
Okay, asthma basically, when you say causes, the definite cause not really known. However, there are a lot of hypotheses around what exactly causes asthma, including the hygiene hypothesis. But in summary, I would say it's an interplay between individuals' genetic makeup and the exposure to some trigger within the environment.
Okay, so now are there new ways of caring for asthmatic, individuals, or it is still the drug and inhaler modes?
The inhaled steroid still remains the widely recommended for a lot of people. Over 90% of people who have asthma will do well on inhaled steroid. However, there are just a little percentage, less than 10% of these, who have severe asthma. Those are the people that require a respiratory or expert care. They may require additional therapy in addition to the inhaled steroid. But in all, quite a significant number of those who have asthma will be controlled when they use their inhaled steroid.
Okay, talking about this inhaled steroid for asthmatic patients, how affordable is it?
That's actually one of the challenges, and that's one of the key issues we are talking about today in the World Asthma Day team. We're talking about these things, or the inhalers, asthma medications, not being affordable, not being accessible in low and middle income countries. Part of the reason we also have quite significant number of these, over 90% of this asthma mortality that have been described to us also happening in our environment. So if we have where an inhaler is selling as much as the minimum wage or even above that, you do know that that may become a trouble for an asthmatic patient who is in that lower cadre, does not have a health insurance, and have to use the entirety of their salary to procure an inhaler.
Okay, now, does this not bother you that a lot of people will now want to tend towards a traditional mode of taking care of themselves?
Of course, it does bother me as a chest physician. And with that, we often encourage our patients, when you look at what you stand to gain versus what, the importance of having your asthma controlled, it will allow you to function better and optimally, as well as even in the long run, it's actually cheaper when you look at it. Because for those who have poorly controlled asthma, they stand the risk of more exacerbation, hospitalization, and for each hospitalization you come, you're likely to pay more for oxygen, hospital admissions, and all that. So you find out that when you still compare it, you are safer, and it's really cheaper for you to stay on your inhaled steroid.
Okay, now, globally, we have about 260 million people, asthmatic individuals, and they have recorded about 450 million deaths, right? Okay, now, urban centers such as Lagos with high density population, and of course, air pollution cannot be erased. How can asthmatic individuals now manage their condition?
Yes, we have some studies who have actually demonstrated that in Nigeria we have higher prevalence of asthmatics living in the urban when compared to the rural areas. Some of those factors or contributing factors may be what you've already told us, the high incidences of air pollution and all that. So the basic or the fundamental principle of managing it, aside, first of all, you will have, because there's a chronic inflammation, so you need that steroid, which is an anti-inflammatory agent to keep the inflammation under check. And as much as possible, avoid the environment where you know triggers your asthma attacks.
Okay, on Panorama, we want to ask you, some people have the belief that citruses and certain edibles, such as, garlic, is good, for the treatment of asthma.
About that, of course, as an orthodox physician, we believe in things that have been proven. Okay, we do know, or I personally do hear people say, okay, I do this and I take this fruit or this vegetable, I feel okay. However, we need to prove that these things are not occurring by chances, that they are actually attributable to this. And science has a way of proving this by doing like a clinical trials. Okay, so those ones that have been established, and proven beyond every reasonable doubt to work are those ones we are promoting.
Okay. Now, you talked of the high cost of the inhaler as one of the challenges. What are the challenges asthmatic patients, going through?
Okay, so I think the today's team, actually the sub-team highlights these challenges. One, they talked about the GINA, which talked about asthma education empowers, which is like what it encompasses all that we need to do to empower both our patients and their primary care physicians to be able to take care of this condition. They kind of addresses the under diagnosis and inaccurate diagnosis of asthma. Talked about under usage of inhaled steroid, in addition to over-reliance on short-acting beta-2 agonists, like we see in salbutamol. We have a lot of our patients who see even physicians, and their physicians, primary care physicians, who put them on this. So researchers have shown that those who are not on anti-inflammatory agents and who also use a lot of SABA, or we calling it for short, at risk of uncontrolled asthma. They are the ones who often have a recurrent hospitalization. And in fact, more than 10 canisters use of salbutamol in a year has been established to be very related to having asthma-related death.
All right. So, so your advice to Nigerians is that they should go for orthodox because any other one that has not been proven to be efficient cannot be used to treat asthma, right?
Exactly.
So, in your last words, would you say Nigeria, we are tackling asthma the way we should?
I think we are on the path. We are on the path, but we need to get there. We need to make healthcare accessible to all. The good coverage of our national health insurance would be a good way to go, so that people can have access to basic medication they need.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ogachukwu, for enlightenment on Panorama today.
Thank you very much for having me with you.
All right, it's time for us to take some sports news.
Since the appointment of Coach Finidi George as the head coach of Super Eagles, expectations are high that the Nigerian Football Federation will name assistant coaches and other backroom staffs for the team to remain focused. Ex-international Mutiu Adepoju, however, advised that Finidi George should be given free hand to choose his assistants for smooth running of the team, especially with the 2026 World Cup qualifiers against South Africa and Benin Republic fast approaching. In table tennis, preparations are in top gear by Nigerian international Haruna Quadri, searching for his fourth Olympic Games ticket as the qualification tournament begins on the 12th of May in Kigali, Rwanda. Haruna Quadri, Ofiong Edem, Olajide Omotayo and Fatima Bello will be representing Nigeria at the 2024 ITTF African Cup and Olympics qualification tournament. From the foreign scene, hostilities continue Tuesday and Wednesday as the 2024 UEFA Champions League enters second leg semi-final stage. Borussia Dortmund, with a long goal advantage, will be the guest of PSG. Drama is expected as Real Madrid will lock arms with Bayern Munich. The first leg ended 2 goals apiece. With sports update, Olumide Guntola, NTA News.
And that's Panorama from Lagos. Thank you for watching. I am Adeola Komiakere.